Hello, students. I'm your Ranjit sir, and you all are welcome in my online classes. Today, I am here with the shoemaker. Yes, don't laugh. It's real. I'm telling you true that I am with the shoemaker. Yes, Charles Dickens shoemaker. This is the story you have to read in this classroom. And this story, the shoemaker, has been taken from A Tale of Two Cities, written by Charles Dickens. It's a historical novel set in London and Paris before French Revolution. At that time, there was a suppression everywhere in French society. Common men and women were living a very difficult life. In this story, Dickens has described the pathetic condition of a man who was a doctor by his profession, but after spending long years in prison, and it was supposed of 18 years in prison, he lost all his senses, his memories, and his family also. This is the story this is the story that dealt with the discovery of whether the shoemaker meet his family again and recover to his senses or not. I repeat, this story is about whether the shoemaker recovered to his senses or not, and whether he meet his family again or not. So let's start the story. Good day, said Monsieur Defarge, looking down at the white head and bent low over the shoemaking. It was raised for a moment, and a very faint voice responded to the greeting as if it were at a distance. Good day. Now we will see some difficult words. Monsieur. Monsieur. Monsieur, it's a title like Mr. It means Mr. Defarge. It means Mr. Defarge. As we say, as we address in Hindi, Mahashay. Bent. Bent, it is a past tense of bend. It is the past tense of bend, right? And you know the meaning bend. And another is faint. Faint, weak. Okay. One day means in one morning, a strange man whose name is Monsieur Defarge met a shoemaker who was making his shoes, and he was busy bending over the shoe. In reply, the shoemaker said him good day, but the voice was so faint, the voice was such a such a low degree that it seemed he was sitting far away. He was sitting at a distance. Now Defarge asked a question whether he was. Here is the question. You are still hard at work, I see. Now, Defarge asked him a question. And what was the question? Whether he was still hard at work. The shoemaker answered him. And what was the answer? Yes, I am working. But this answer didn't quickly. This answer didn't come quickly, and for that he took a long pause, and then lifted his head for a moment, and then in a low voice he replied, "Yes, I am working." The faintness of the voice was pitiable and dreadful. It was not the faintness of physical weakness, though confinement and hard fare no doubt had their part in it. It was the faintness of solitude and disuse. New was pitiable. Pitiable means miserable. Miserable, dreadful, fearful. Fearful, faintness, weakness, not in conscious, not in conscious, weakness. It means he was not in a great conscious. So meaning is clear. I think one word is also here, and that is confinement. Here is the word confinement. Confinement, it's a state of being in isolation. 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 Next is solitude. Solitude means loneliness. Loneliness and disuse. Disuse, this is neglect. Neglect. This is neglect. So now words are clear to you, all of you. I hope that. Now the faintness, it means weakness of his voice, was very fearful and miserable, very poor, and it was not the faintness of physical weakness, but that weakness, that weakness of the voice was not due to his physical weakness, but it was due to being in isolation, due to being isolated from the society, and undoubtedly this was the great reason of that. This was the cause of that, why his voice was faint, and this was due to his loneliness and disuse. His faintness of voice was due to solitude and disuse. This was the reason here. And confinement. This was the reason of his weak voice. I want, said Defarge, who had not removed his gaze from the shoemaker. He asked, "What are I want to let in a little more light here. You can bear a little more." Now, Defarge, without removing his look, gaze means deep look. Deep look. Deep look. So, without removing his deep look from the shoemaker, he said to him to let a little more light there. Why? Because there might be a darkness. He was not able to see anything in the darkness. So he requested him to open the door a little more, because he said that he can bear it. He can bear the more light. He can bear a little more light, because light cannot cost anything. So I think here it is. You are clear. I hope that. Next paragraph is the half opened door was opened a little further. A broad ray of light fell into the garret and showed the workman with an unfurnished shoe upon his lap, pausing in his labor. Now, newer garret. Garret it is attic. Attic, no, it's a storeroom. Unfurnished, not good not good in condition. In condition. Not good in condition. So let me clear it. So the shoemaker accepted his request, and he opened a little further the half-open door. Now a broad light came into the room, came into the storeroom, came into the attic, and after that, things were visible. And what Defarge saw that the workman was busy, the workman was making a shoe that was not good in shape, that was not good in condition, and he had stopped his working. A few common tools and various. Further he saw what he saw of his few common tools and various scraps of leather were at his feet and on his bench. He had a white beard, raggedly cut but not very long, a hollow face, and exceedingly bright eyes. Here, first time Defarge saw the shoemaker clearly, and what he saw that there are tools, scraps means uh, pieces of leather, were lying near his feet and on his bench. Now here is appearance of him, how he was looking. Here the author explained he had white beard, raggedly cut. So the shoemaker was with white beard. It means he was dressed with white beard, and it was not very long. His face was hollow. Hollow means expressionless. Expressionless. Hollow. Expressionless. His face was expressionless. There was no emotion, no feelings surfacing on his face. And exceedingly means extremely bright eyes. But despite of these things, his eyes were very bright, shining. His yellow rags of shirts lay open at the throat and showed his body to be withered and worn. Now, here are rags. Rags means torn pieces of shirts. Lay open the throat and showed his body to be withered. Withered means what we say. Withered means wrinkled. Yes, wrinkled. Withered means wrinkled. Wrinkled and worn. Here is a word on. Worn means tired. So what he saw now that he has not a good shirt. His shirt was torn into the he has on torn pieces of shirt, and his throat was open, and it was showing that his body had wrinkles, many wrinkles, and he was looking very tired. Is it clear what he was looking? So now the guest came to know that he was not good. He was looking tired in the tattered shirt, tattered clothing. He and his old canvas frock, loose stockings, and all his poor tatters of clothes had, in a long seclusion from direct light and air, faded down to such a dull informity and parchment yellow that it would have been hard to say which was which. Here are some words. Numerous canvas throat. Canvas throat, it's clothing of coarse material, means cheap material. It's a type of clothing, poor clothing. Poor clothing. And loose stockings. Stockings, long sock. Long sock worn by men in ancient times. Uniformity means uniform. The word has formed by uniform, which means a condition in which everything is in a same color, not varying. Parchment. Parchment means it's a skin of goat or sheep prepared for to write on, and its color is faded yellow, dull yellow. So these all things, canvas frock, he, loose stockings, poor tatters of clothes, everything and everything had been away from the light and air, and that's why everything had been faded down to a such uniformity, and it was looking like a parchment, that it would have been hard to say which was which, and it was very difficult to say, to differentiate between two things, what is what. The shoemaker, next is the shoemaker never looked at the figure before him without first looking down on this side of himself, then on that, as if he had lost the habit of associating place with sound. He never spoke without first wondering in the manner and forgetting to speak. Now, writer says that the shoemaker was so absorbed in his own thought, he was not associating with the society, with place, with sound for a long time. He didn't utter a word, and he forgot to speak anything because he had been living his life away from the society. He was not attached with the society. He was not marking that there is a man before him standing there. So this is the story of the first page. Next video very soon I will upload, and we will continue the story. Have a good day.